Hello.
Julia, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I am so in love with your movie. I wish you were here in the flesh. I would kiss your hand and fall at your feet. My God, woman, this is an amazing. This movie feels female. I don't know if that means anything, but
for me it doesn't, because I'm female, so I don't make the difference, you know.
Well, so
but, yeah,
you know, let's jump right in right there, because it's interesting, because, you know, knowing and loving horror movies all my life, and they're always about death, which is genderless. It's the great equalizer. But do you think this is a feminist film? Does that even really exist in the context of horror?
it is definitely a feminist film, that's for sure. It has, but I don't think it has anything to do with the context. The thing is that, you know, as I constantly say, and you've probably heard of it, I like working around bodies.
Yes.
A lot, and in terms of my aesthetics and my questions that I ask myself about identity, about humanity, it always goes through the body, the bodies, and the way my characters go through metamorphosis, and also in the way I film them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I thought at the very beginning of the writing of the movie, I thought, you know, you always want to project all the different roads where your movie could go and try to, you know, tackle them a bit and see what it gives. And I thought, what if my character is a guy, and what if my character is a girl, and what's the most important, what's the most relatable thing for this young cannibal to be born? Right. And I thought, since it's a coming of age movie that happens after teenage years, I mean, for young adults, and I'm thinking there is something I can't avoid, is the discovery of one's own sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking now that at this moment, I'm thinking, if I have to talk about the birth of sexuality in someone, I think I have way more to defend if I choose a female character over a male character, because for me, I feel that there is absolutely no truth in the way we portray today and have portrayed in the past the birth of sexuality in young women. Right. I feel like somehow it's always something that happens, you know, that is very cerebral, that is always like in the protection of the after, like, have I done the right choice? Is it the right guy? Is he going to call me? I'm going to pass for a slut. Am I going to get a reputation and stuff like that?
Right, right.
And this is nothing like sexuality. Sexuality is in the body. It's not like, you know, it's not in this, like, some kind of already passive attitude and already victimized attitudes towards sex. I don't think it's a good example for the youth, by the way, you know. And I thought I really want to propose another option, which is like just talking about what happens in the body when you need, you know, when you need when you desire, when you crave, and everything, and I wanted to portray the birth of sexuality that is completely aware of its of the body, that is completely in the body, and that is completely in the only projection there is the orgasm. That's the only after.
Right.
What she's aiming at is the orgasm. It's not like afterwards. There is no questions about what's going to happen afterwards and stuff like that. She just is a desiring body who wants to climax, like every other body in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for me that was super important that it's like this, because it's important. It was important for me, and it was indeed a feminist gesture for me to portray sexuality that is unapologetic and shameless. You know, and I do think that this is not often portrayed like that, unfortunately.
No, and you know, outside of the sexual, and I love what you just said. I love the quote about that she wants to climax like every other body wants to climax. I mean, that's the truth. It's the basic truth of the living condition. But you know, outside of the sexuality, the idea about the irony about a vegetarian suddenly realizing her destiny of being a flesh eater. Can you talk about that? Are you a vegetarian, or was this some sort of comment against vegetarianism, or did that play into it at all?
So I'm afraid that this answer is going to be just a little bit of a disappointment.
Okay.
Because to be honest, the first thing is that when I started writing my movie, it was 6 years ago now, and if you wish, I had never thought at the time that by making my character a vegetarian for purely narrative reasons at the beginning would trigger so many questions as it does now. Mm-hmm. For the simple reason that when I started writing it 6 years ago, vegetarianism and veganism were not at the center of the stage as it is now, a lot, And so when I did this choice, for me, and it still is, it's just that basically when you know your character is going to become a cannibal, and you want to portray a very wide an evolution that is very clear and very understandable and very, that has a lot of amplitude, well, you pretty much start with the opposite.
Right.
Because if she had been eating McDonald's in the beginning, the fact that she becomes a cannibal would be like, no, okay, well, But she's a vegetarian. That's why it's so shocking when she becomes a cannibal. She comes from nothing.
Right.
And that was just only a narrative reason. And at the time, I never thought it would trigger any questions.
Well, it's just it is a great device, as you say, and it does tie into the sexuality because she's going against the grain of everything that's normal in her life. So it's this double awakening of sorts. I make movies too, and they're always female-centered vampire werewolf films, but all of my movies are kind of based around my love of one movie, and that's Harry Camel's Daughters of Darkness. Do you know this film?
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I have to see it now.
You really do, because your film feels like the closest I've seen to another film that has that seductive essence to it. And I wanted to talk about the music, because Jim's music is very much, and I'd be interested to know if Jim was influenced by that score at all, because it very much feels like that music. I love it. I love the moment when she first eats the finger and that fuzz guitar kicks in. It's just so dramatic and almost comic book.
And when the organ kicks in, that's just, whoa.
Oh my God, it becomes this gothic.
He's a genius.
Yeah. Did you guide him through any of that, or did you just hand over the keys and say, just give me what you got?
I'm a big control freak, so I always guide people.
So the organ was your idea?
No. I guide him in the sense that I tell him what I want. I told him I wanted to write to make a theme for Justin, and I wanted the theme to morph. I told him I wanted to be like, for example, Western at the beginning with an acoustic guitar, and that it would morph into electric guitars and stuff like that. I had precise ideas about that. I knew that, for example, at the end I wanted people to cry. So I told him, for me, crying equals 2 strings and 1 piano.
Yeah.
This is what makes me cry all the time. So this is, I had precise ideas, but he came up, of course, with the theme. He came up with the organ. He came up with the harpsichord and everything. And this is why I say he's a genius. He has understood so well what were the needs of my needs and the needs of my character. Because, of course, this theme had to morph with her. It had to become more gothic. It had to become, for example, the reason why he added the organ during the finger scene is because I told him, listen, having acoustic morphing into electric is one thing because it gives, this edgy note and the fact that she's crossing a threshold. But I want to portray the fact that fatality and destiny are just crushing her at this moment. It's just falling upon her shoulders, you know? Yeah. And he came up with the organ that is so smart because the organ is the instrument of church.
Yes.
It's the instrument that points out the sin. Mm-hmm. And this is really that's why there is something that's way more ample that I could have ever wished for. And then, when he does the exact same theme, but with the harpsichord, this is also during the soccer game. Yeah. And this is also super smart because at this moment she starts accepting her needs, accepting her cravings and her sexuality and everything. Right. And she looks at him in a sexualized way, but at the same time in an animal way and stuff. And the harpsichord is also a Baroque instrument, the organ, but it's deprived of any religious feel. It's completely pagan. Yeah, no, you're right. It's so smart to do that. I mean, this is, Jim is amazing. And basically for Jim, I didn't need any, influence or anything. I just told him to do what he does because I fell in love with his music through Glenn Whitley's film. Yeah, Kill List, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. He has a strong signature. He's really good. Yeah, no, this is amazing to hear this because and that's when, if you do understand music and how it works with image, so many people I don't think consciously do plug into that, and so many filmmakers don't give a goddamn about it. So to come across a film that is so in tune with the sound and the feeling and how that can change the rapture of an image, I mean, it was just a joy to watch. Oh, cool. Going back to, I forget who said it, but
there's a couple moments in cinema where I kind of really realized that. One's Falconetti in Dreyer's film, Passion of Joan of Arc, and then Nicole Kidman in Jonathan Glazer's Birth, where you just see the face, and you don't need anything else, because the greatest special effect is the face. And Garance has that face. Am I pronouncing her name right? Garance?
Perfect.
Yeah? Okay. I mean, she has that face where you can just look at it. That moment when she puts on her lipstick and she's having that real freak-out moment of just letting go. I could have watched that for an hour. It was just amazing. Could you just tell me about the casting of her and that incredible face?
Well, Garance is the third time we've worked together, because I discovered her when she was 12 on my first story.
Yep.
And she had the main part of my first short, and she hadn't done anything before with acting, and she actually did not want to act at all in her life. She planned to be a musician, actually. And so I discovered her, and let's say that naturally she really had this strength, and that she had not only this strength in the eyes, but she also had the music in her ears. She was never out of tune, which is really very rare for a kid, but also very rare for an adult. It's like she has this tune in her ear that is always right. And also the third thing that I love about her, and this is where our relationship evolved and that we kept on working together, is because she's a very physical actress.
Right.
And I am a very, very big control maniac with bodies, as you know, because I like to film them, I like to reflect upon them, and I love directing bodies.
Right.
For me, it's directing actors is way closer to choreography and music than it is to literature and the script, I never psychologize things. I really talk to the bodies. It's really the here and now that is important to me. Like how bodies react to each other or to situations and stuff like that. And Garance is very, very good with this, because she really has a memory in the body. Like she can reproduce things like that she has a reaction, like let's say an epidermic reaction that she had a month ago when she was, let's say, having lunch with a friend. And if she felt something, she can really find it in her body, in the memory of her body. She can find it back and she can reproduce it. And for example, in real life, she's very awkward. I mean, she's clumsy. Let's say, she always falls, and if there is a door to bang your head on, she's gonna do it, because she's really. She's very, very clumsy, and which is incredibly funny, and that's what I find doing, because I like the fact that my characters are also, flawed and kind of
and vulnerable,
offbeat all the time, and she really can look at herself from the outside in life and try to reproduce and to find this kind of loss of balance that she has in real life. She can reproduce it for 5 takes, 6 takes, 8 takes if you must. She really, really has a sense of that. She really acts with her body and the memory of her body. I think it's amazing. It's really, very interesting. And also we know each other very, very well in real life now, because we're very close. I consider her a bit like my little sister.
Yeah, and
which means that we have built a very big amount of trust in our work relationship, and it's very good, because some of my scenes are hard to shoot, not psychologically or anything, because again, this is not very interesting to me, but they're hard to shoot physically. It's like sports sometimes. It's like the sex scene was actually rehearsed with a stuntman, because it's pretty violent, and what you see is like half of what we shot. It was longer and everything, so it takes a big toll on the body. It's like you have to rehearse it a lot. And the same with the scene under the sheet. It was very, very, very physical for her, just to get to this level of tension in the body, and then to release the tears afterwards. That was a lot. It was 4 hours of work, constantly tense like that. And in this kind of things, I'm always with her, because I talk to her during the takes. I talk during the takes a lot, which is really shit for the sound people, and I apologize for this afterwards, but I really need to be next to her and to talk to her constantly. Tell her, you put your hand here, you put your leg here, you turn your body, you turn your face, you do this and stuff like that. And it's a bit like a hypnosis. It's like to put her in the trance.
Yeah.
And at one point she just hears my voice, and the body reacts to what my voice is saying, but then she can start interpreting when she is in the right physical state. You know what I mean? And this is where she can actually let go and start crying, because she was super, super scared of not managing to cry, she was afraid she didn't have the technique, to reproduce it and everything. And actually, I discovered that with this thing, like to talk like this softly, like in a trance, like in a hypnosis, it really helps letting her go with these emotions. Once the body is guided, then you can let go with the emotions. Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, but listen, I was just going to say, in less than 15 minutes, you have given me a mini masterclass into your technique. Full stop. This is absolutely. I honestly feel when I love a film so much, when I love a piece of art or music, I feel like I'm going to unzip my skin and like blast off into space. I feel that right now. I feel like I'm in the Church of Julia. It's amazing, amazing. So I know we have time now. So I just want to say thank you, my God, so much, and I hope to run into you at a festival or somewhere, someplace, someday, and give you a high five, man.
Same. That's
great work.
I really hope so.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Take it easy, Julia. Bye-bye.